Hey guys, here with Vic to talk about his team's power rankings as you guys graded, and what that looks like for him heading into the season, as well as like what his big picture plans are with the team and all that good stuff. So, an interesting position for you, still new to the league, just taking over the team, but also in this weird position where your division is two very strong teams, then two very weak teams, or one other weak team in addition to you. So it kind of puts you in an interesting position. So looking forward to kind of seeing these results with you and seeing your reaction. So otherwise, how have you been? How has your off season been? Have you completely unplugged from fantasy? Not so much. Somewhere in between.
Yeah, just about the last month, I just kind of had to lock in with other things. There's been some like big life changes and stuff, so it's been a lot of just focusing on like lifting, work, all that stuff. Try to
Yeah.
spend a lot of time outside too because it's nice out. So not
Yeah.
much football, honestly.
Where are you at roughly again? Because you said it's nice out, whereas I feel like every time I step outside, I want to melt. But I
Yeah,
can't.
well, I'm living in Philadelphia, so right now we
Okay,
have a
so you're
flood
still there.
warning. But yeah,
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, so like the summers up there are nicer because it doesn't feel as sweltering. But then obviously you guys have to deal with
Mhm.
the winter and stuff like that too. Virginia in Virginia, it feels like it's the best and worst of both worlds. Like it gets up to 100 randomly, and then it'll also snow randomly. So it's like there's at least in the north or the south, you're like, oh, at least we don't have to deal with blank. Whereas right in the middle, it seems like
Mhm.
it's a little bit of everything. But
Yeah, you get
we're
all four
gonna
seasons. You got to deal with it.
yeah, which is nice too, and makes my wife happy. She's like, I love the leaves. I'm just like, I have to clean them, so I'm sure you do. Um, but good. I'm glad you had a good off season. You said big life changes. Hopefully, all good stuff. And let's talk about what your power rankings look like. So, um, as a friendly reminder, it's your projected finish in the division. Did teams think you're going to come in first, second, third, or fourth? How many teams think you're an absolute lock to make it into the toilet bowl, where there's no way you're not a toilet bowl team?
Um,
How many teams think you're a lock for the playoffs, and how many teams think you might make it to the championship? Um,
mm.
so let's talk about the first one, projected finish within the division. Do you kind of have an estimate or a guess on how many teams put you in any of the places? You're dealing with, Hey Megs and Brown out in Code with Ticket to Ride, who are two really strong teams. So, it's between you and I for third and fourth place in the division. Any guesses on what your split might look like?
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I was looking at it when I was doing the rankings myself. I think I put myself at three. I tried to flatter myself a bit. If I had to guess, it's probably like a 3.5. Like I don't think it's particularly like far between me and you. I think we're both kind of locked into a rebuild
Both
right now. So
both kind of hanging out, waiting for 2 years from now.
I'm just
Uh,
here, you know.
yeah, we're here for a good time. But you're right. So a lot of teams thinking you're in third place. So 9 of the 12 saying that you're in third place. Three are saying you're in fourth. So no one really expecting you to finish in the top half. But I don't think either of us expect to finish in the top half either. I think that we're scrappy.
Mm.
Maybe take a game or two away from someone here or there. But for the most part, kind of comfortable floating down here.
I'm gonna
Did
win the
you?
league.
You know,
I don't know what you're talking.
did you kind of expect to be, have an overwhelming amount of teams putting you in third place, or does this
I
feel
was
right for
honest.
you because you put yourself in third?
Well, honestly, I had to think about it for a little bit. Like, I don't, especially if you look at, I guess I haven't really fully explained what I want to do, but
Yeah,
I'm not really trying to win at all. I try to stay out of the middle if I can. So, while like on paper, you know, third place makes sense. I'm trying to use a lot of my taxi squad. I'm trying to get draft picks. I'm trying to trade guys away. I
right.
don't think my team will necessarily be as good halfway through the year as it is maybe how it looks now. So,
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, you're completely right. Right, like it's something you kind of hinted at. I heard, one of the rules that I try to follow when I can is you don't want to ever be in the middle. Like being in the middle
mhm.
is just purgatory of sorts. You either want to get all the way this way or all the way that way. Um, and so, I mean, I think the benefit is that since we do play each other once a year, somebody's going to have to win a game at some point between us. But I still think that we're pretty much a lock. I just finished talking with Nate literally moments ago. He kind of
Mhm.
feels the same way, and so the three of us are all happy at the bottom. It's really that who's the fourth team joining us is really the fun question. And
Yeah.
I think the three of us are going to be fighting and in the weirdest way this season when it comes to trying to lose without, intentionally losing and trading away as much as we can to get a little bit of pieces here or there. Um, how do you think the rest of the league feels? How many teams do you got a pretty good showing, 9 teams saying you'll finish in third. Any guesses on how many teams think that you're an absolute lock for the toilet bowl? I mean, you're saying that you think that you are. You probably voted for yourself there, but how do you think the rest of the league felt?
I would expect the overwhelming majority. I mean, I feel like I got to get at least one this year. I can't join the league and go over, but
Right, right.
we'll see. But I would say most people kind of look at that roster and go, my team's better than that, and that's going to be at least 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. So
Yeah.
I would expect most of the league. 8.
Yeah, 8. Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head there, saying 6, 7, 8. So 8 teams think you're an absolute lock for the toilet bowl. And I think it's a bit of respect, too, like the fact that you've kind of got some core pieces you can play with. Because they're saying 4 teams are saying it's not 100%, like that you could theoretically do X or Y to go ahead and make it to the extra pick bracket or something like that. I'll skip.
Can fall into the end zone 4 million times. It's
Right. Anything's possible. And then just for funsies, quick skip. But nobody thinks you're absolutely making it to the playoffs. Nobody thinks that you're going to make it to the championship. But that's kind of what we expected, and that kind of is where the conversation opens up for us. What are your big? I mean, of course, you don't want to spoil the specific strategies and tactics, right? But like, do you have any overarching plans? Again, just talk to Nate, who kind of said, "I'm just trying to end on a positive note." I did my interview earlier this week with Code, which was really weird doing it early for me. But my thing was I'm trying to upgrade 3rd round picks into 2nd round picks. I'm trying to upgrade 4ths into 3rds. I'm trying to are you kind of in that same boat, or is there a different but distinct strategy you have?
So I'm gonna take that 0 very personally. First of all, so I'm at some point gonna try to make a run. Maybe knock off a high seed. My main goal for this season, since realistically I'm not going to be very good, is to get a big upset. I need to get at least one. I need to shake the league up a little bit. I think it'd be a lot of fun, just to kind of get my feet wet with that. And on that note, if you get a big upset along the way, that means that your rookies are playing well, the guys you picked up are playing well at some point, or you just are very lucky and your quarterback threw for 6 touchdowns. But
yeah, or a combination of both. Yeah, but that's where it gets fun, is when your team sucks and you're you're still setting a lineup with the exact same intensity as if you were fighting for the title. It's I'm gonna scare somebody at some point. I just want someone to look at the thing and be like, why is this so close? That's kind of the aim sometimes.
You remember last year when Juwan Jennings scored 40 points or something?
Right.
I was playing against the guy, and I was just looking at it there's no fucking way. I'm supposed to make a buy.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly.
I want to be that guy.
When you scare people with that, it's always fun, especially too with it. Us having divisions in this league. If you can pull off one of those wins in week 1, 2, or 3 when you're playing against one of the big dogs in the division, or 11, 12, 13 as they're fighting for a bye or trying to secure the playoff spot, man, it can cause some panic. How much? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was gonna say, but long term, it's kind of what you were talking about. I'm not sure what it is yet, but at some point I think I mentioned this before. I want to make some kind of splash, a creative trade. Explore this is a pretty specific and unique rule set for the league, and I kind of want to take advantage of that. And I forget who it is. Is it Cam who's the bylaw guy because he's a lawyer? I forget one of them.
Cam is very much the bylaw guy, and then as the one who wrote the book, I think Cam and I are both the bylaw guy. But you've got to be careful, because then when Cam and I try to exploit the bylaws to make something happen, we cause riots. But I mean, you're completely right. We had to add extra things in the rule, but in the rule book for certain situations. And the Council of Commissioner Knowledge has a place now because of a thing we did. But I mean, Flynn did the trade for Lamar Jackson, and he just added a condition in there of, if I'm in the bottom 4, it changes. And I feel like, as someone who's done many conditional trades in the league, there is a unique angle to take with those. And so I think, we all think about them on the surface of, oh, well, if it turns into this, then it's actually that. But I wonder if we can find, whether it's you or anybody really, what's a unique angle that we could take on a trade that turns into anything really. I mean, it's there's a bit more rigidity now after the shenanigans that Cam and I tried to pull off, where I don't know if you were here for that, but basically it was like if his record wasn't good, I got Justin Jefferson like just sent to my roster or something crazy, and then it was a mess. Good intentions, but so like, but what's next, right? Like, what else can we kind of finagle or come up with, or if this player doesn't end above a threshold that another team thinks they'll get, they come back to my team. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. What is how does the toilet bowl play a factor into your team building process, right? Because the bottom four teams then are playing in a sense for a better draft pick. Does that mean that you can't fully sell like you normally would? Does that mean you might think about buying a bit more at towards the end, or does it not even matter where you're just like, hey, I'm okay with top four if I can pull a couple more this or that, and then figure it out once I get there? I cannot hear you for some reason. I know we were having some Discord issues in the beginning. Let me make sure it's not me. I don't think it's me. I don't hear anything still. I'm going to pause the recording. We'll come back once we figure it out. All right, got the audio thing figured out, I think. I forget the question I asked. Oh, it was a toilet bowl thing. How does having a toilet bowl kind of factor into your process when it comes to trading away assets or trying to acquire assets?
But for me, I think um, without giving away like everything, but I
Right.
feel like people have definitely thought of this before. I think you have to go through the draft more as a result of that, which because maybe you don't play rookies if you break out late in the year, that ends up helping you in the toilet bowl, even though you missed the playoffs, stuff like that, right? The other thing, I'll give you an example here. Last year, every season, there's guys who they're good for that year, but no one wants to trade for them at the deadline because of gold or they're going to lose their jobs. Pretty obvious. Like last
Right.
year, Kareem Hunt, for example, was going crazy, but everyone knew Jeff wasn't any bad. So they're cheap and they're actually usable in this league. So that would be kind of my strategy is like if Brandon Cooks somehow is like scoring points because Olave got another concussion, that's actually a valuable piece. I can help you get like first overall pick or something. Like stuff like that would be kind of likely.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes a lot of sense too. Trying to find those undervalued pieces that are rightfully undervalued almost, and treating it like a redraft type thing, and just
Mm-hmm.
especially too like you know we see pick swaps all the time in the NFL, but it's like if you're if you manage to acquire a couple thirds or have a couple thirds or whatever, and you're like, I'll give you this playoff third for your early fourth, and I also get this player that's going to help me through. Like, I think that I think things like that could work. Like I picked up Jonathan Taylor at the trade deadline last year. People were like, why are you buying? I'm like, because I'm trying to get 102. I'm trying to get 103. Like if I get
Mm-hmm.
104, that sucks. But I don't know that the pieces that I sent away in this trade plus 104 get me 102. And so it adds another layer to it, I think. And you have all your picks, if I'm not mistaken, this coming year, right? This last year was the
Yep.
one that you kind of were forced into buying the first back.
I
Or
did
was
my
it?
best, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so you've
Was
got
there a right? Was
uh,
there really a year where a team got like injured to sit, but was really good, and then also got the 101? Like, has that happened before?
what was it? What was the question? I'm sorry, I was looking at the thing.
So what I'm thinking of is like, let's say you have a great team, but then like 3 or 4 of your players get injured, so you miss the playoffs. Has there been a team that just ran through the toilet bowl and also got the 101 but still had a great team?
Not yet. I mean, there have been teams that have kind of missed it and won the. I'm pulling up the thing over here now. Where be the record book? Um, it's not going to do it the way I want it to. Oh well. Nobody's really run through the toilet bowl yet. Rick had a good run at it last year, where he won 2 of the games and he ended up with 101. He won all 3 games in 2023. Lynn won all 3 of his games in 2022. But nobody's really like all the teams that have made it to the toilet bowl so far have all been pretty trash. Like there hasn't been a good team that just had a bad slide and won it all.
Right.
In either way, and even in the extra pick bracket, if I'm not mistaken, if you count 22, 23 and 24, both the toilet bowl brackets went, or the extra pick brackets went 2-1. In 2022, the one guy kind of thought he was out of playoffs and didn't really set a lineup for a few weeks, and that's why he isn't here anymore. So that I don't really consider that as counting, but the playoff, all the brackets have been pretty scary and competitive. But no, there isn't a team that like went 4 or 5 games with a loss and then just smashed everybody. Law of averages says it'll happen one day, but we'll see. I do kind of think that whichever the 4th team is kind of in the toilet bowl, because it's so projected to be you, Nate, and I, that team will probably just run through the 3 of us. But who knows? Maybe if we get our best players together, like the Infinity Stones, we will have a chance against them, like the all-star of the Rudy's hippos. The Rudy Hippo implications can ward off the last team.
Conditional 3-way trade.
For a week. Yeah, for a week. These guys all revert back, which is totally not collusion, right? Any final thoughts? You kind of said that your goal this season really is to pick off and just come up with a big upset, make sure you win a game or 2 here or there. But do you have any other major goals for the season, or any other final thoughts you want to talk about before we kind of wrap this thing up?
I don't think anything I haven't said before. Like, I want to get younger. I kind of stepped out the last month and I've been like focused on other stuff, but I still want to trade James Conner. I still probably want to trade T. Higgins. Jalen Waddle, I don't think anyone's playing him currently. What his cap situation is, it's rather unfortunate based off last year. But I want to get young. Not that he's especially old, but that's the general trend to be. Young, get good. And I'm just gonna be locked in watching a lot of college football and trying to figure out what I want to get next year. So
yeah. All right, to look at the next year. I mean, there are plenty of pieces. I mean, Chase Brown is obviously an incredible contract. We named it as one of the best in the league. Ingram, Tua, Pitts, Connor's still there, as you mentioned. T's there, ETN. I mean, you definitely have a lot of pieces that you could, I think, get a decent return for. If a QB gets hurt and Kirk goes to that team, 6-point passing touchdown league, you're telling me you can't get a 2nd-round pick for that, especially with how cheap of a deal he's on, or if Tyreek goes down and Waddle looks good, hey, I'll pay for half the contract if blank. Or I think ETN's one of the most underrated players right now. I know it's scary with the new offense and everything, but I mean, ETN's great. Like 2 years ago, he was going for a lot. So I don't know. I think you've got
his range of outcomes is so big. Like, he's either going to be great or he's going to be horrible and get replaced. Like, I have no idea which one it is, but
yeah. Well, that's why he's on your team, right? I mean, you got him for, I think it's like $58 or $63. Like,
yeah,
if he's nothing and you can't get anything for him, all right, well, he walks into free agency next year. Who gives a shit? Exactly. Like, literally your reaction, I don't care. Like, whatever. But then if you can trade him for a 3rd or a 2nd, it's like that was worth every penny. Like, this year is not real. All right, cool. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks so much. Go Birds. Eagles record prediction. Go.
This might be a little controversial. I think they go like 11-5. The schedule is really tough.
Our schedule's terrible.
It's a gauntlet. Halfway through the year.
Yeah.
I think they drop 5 games at some point, and people start calling them WIP, says ludicrous stuff about Nick Sirianni halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hate every second of it, but they're still gonna be a good team.
Yeah. I think we win the division. I think the rest we'll figure out as we go. I think the Commanders are overrated. I don't know if you watched the interview with Cam today, but Cam said it's the Cowboys' year. I think he said it mostly satirically. He's the most rational Cowboys fan I've ever met.
Dude, it feels like one of those years. Like, remember when we won the Super Bowl? The next year, Dallas wins the division by a game because we had injuries and dropped the random game to like Washington. Like, it just feels like one of those years. We're gonna lose to the fucking Giants.
Did you see? And I swear we won't turn this into an Eagles rant. I think Code and I turned our video into an Eagles rant, so stay tuned. Don't leave. But did you see Schottenheimer at Cowboys camp was making players and coaches run laps because they couldn't stop fighting in practice?
I saw that.
One of the comments on there was so perfect, where they were like, this is either their Remember the Titans moment, or it's proof of concept that they're going to go 4-13, or just whatever it was. How bad does it have to be to get the coaches to run? That's a great question for
Oh,
Morgan, who is a
that's
football coach. But like, that's got to be like
like
otherworldly. We can't get through a play or two without people fighting, right? Like, that's bad.
no- and the whole time, like before the kid even takes a preseason snap, he's like, Jaden Boo's a lazy piece of shit. Fucking like,
Yeah,
what's going on over there? Like,
I don't know,
no,
man. It just
I don't know.
so happy to have Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman as our people, and
Mhm.
Sirianni for that matter. So
Stability is beautiful.
yeah, go Birds. All right, that'll do it for us. We will see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a good one.